I got a call a few weeks ago asking if I would do a short lecture on Taylor Swift. Duh. So here I am. I've decided to limit myself to just talking about her literary references in her songs. And this is not a comprehensive list, this is just what I have time for. So there are many references to Shakespeare in Swift's work. Let's start with Romeo and Juliet. In Love Story, released in 2008, I vividly remember people bashing on the song. This isn't how the story goes. That's not how the story ends. Obviously in R&J, Romeo and Juliet come to their untimely demise after their families try to keep them apart. But in Taylor's version of the story, the lovers get to be together after the families come to an understanding. This is what she hopes for in the story and in her own life. Another R&J reference is in The Albatross, written in 2024. A rose by any other name is a scandal. Again, a rewriting of Shakespeare. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Here, Taylor's referencing her love life feeling pure from her eye, but somehow scandalous in public view, much like the love story of R&J. On to Othello. Willow is a song Swift released in 2020. The opening line, "Life was a willow and it bent right to your wind." In Shakespeare's work, willow trees often symbolize loss and betrayal. In Othello, Desdemona sings the Willow Song, which is basically lamenting her lost love to Othello. We know now that Taylor's relationship at the time was slowly coming to an end, and she felt this too. So she tried to tell us through this song under the guise of a love song, which happens to be exactly what Desdemona had done in Othello. The willow doesn't end there. It can also be said that Willow is connected to Hamlet. Ophelia, the female protagonist from Hamlet, falls from a willow tree into the water in which she drowns. A lot happening here. She sings a song about a willow tree, then she falls from that willow tree. But in Taylor's turn of events, she is saved from drowning by her new lover in The Fate of Ophelia. You dug me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia. This song is current, so it's very safe to say it's about Travis Kelce. The Fate of Ophelia is from her most recent album, which dropped literally last week. She references Shakespeare many times, but the only direct reference is from Cancelled. She sings "Something Wicked This Way Comes," which is from Macbeth. The witches say this as they foretell Macbeth's evil. Taylor in this song is confronting cancel culture and how one word or remark could ruin her career and others' careers. Now on to other literary references in her work. Wonderland 2014, Taylor references how Alice falls down a rabbit hole into Wonderland where she meets the Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter. This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things 2017, feeling so Gatsby for that whole year. She's talking about throwing absolute ragers just like Gatsby, and she's telling the friend in this song that she's no longer invited to them. Cardigan 2020 is a song about losing someone but getting them back. The lover in Cardigan tried to change the ending, Peter losing Wendy. Here, again, in Taylor's version, Peter and Wendy end up together. She loves to rewrite a classic tale. Another Peter Pan reference is in Peter, written in 2024. Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader. This song is about growing up and essentially leaving Peter behind because he refuses to grow up. The Lakes, written in 2020, is a gold mine of literary references, mostly because the Lakes refers to the Lake District in the UK, where many poets would retreat or live to write poems about the beauty of nature and love and other things. Taylor details how she longs to live there and not have social media and modern threats engulf her. And she makes a cheeky reference by mentioning William Wordsworth, one of the Lake District poets. Invisible String 2020 could be tied to multiple works, including The Sun Also Rises and Jane Eyre. Isn't It Pretty to Think is a direct quote from The Sun Also Rises. More interestingly, in my opinion, in Jane Eyre, Rochester remarks to Jane, "I have a strange feeling with regard to you, as if I had a string somewhere under my left ribs, tightly knotted to a similar string in you." Cassandra, written in 2024, is an example of how women can be tarnished and even ruined when coming out against a man or an industry. Taylor in this song is Cassandra from Greek literature, trying to speak up and getting canceled for it, or in Cassandra's case, getting killed. The Tortured Poets Department, the title track from one of my favorite of her albums. In this song, she mentions Dylan Thomas and Patti Smith and the iconic Chelsea Hotel. Chelsea Hotel was essentially a writer's hotel, including for Thomas and Smith. So High School 2024, you know how to ball, I know Aristotle, a fun line about her current relationship. I Hate It Here 2024, she mentions The Secret Garden. The Secret Garden is about an orphan who discovers an abandoned garden and she restores it back to life, which gives her and others around her great joy and happiness. In this song, Taylor says she goes to this secret garden in her mind because she hates the world that we live in. The Albatross, written in 2024, could very well be a reference to The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, another Lake District poet. In the poem, a mariner kills an albatross that was loved by the people of the ship, so they force him to wear the dead bird around his neck as a reminder of his mistake. Heavy imagery here for Ms. Swift. The song details how anyone who chooses to be involved with her is choosing a life of danger and speculation, much like the burden of having a dead bird tied around your neck. If you'd like to do more digging, I suggest you look at the similarities between Taylor's work and Sylvia Plath's life and work, specifically in the Fortnite music video made in 2024. You can also listen to Folklore and Evermore and find the connections to The Great Gatsby, Jane Eyre, The Mad Woman in the Attic, and Rebecca. You can also listen through Taylor's work and its connection to the Salem witch trials, mostly in her later albums such as Reputation, Folklore, Evermore, and Tortured Poets. Thank you. I hope you've learned something useful and positive about the songwriter of our generation.